whispers in the deep dark night. Shadows dancing.
Welcome to the AI Riff, where we cut through the noise and break down the top AI stories of the week with real talk and real relevance. No hype, no fluff, just a vendor-agnostic take on what's actually shaping your world today. Whether you're in tech, lending, or just trying to make sense of the headlines, we're here to separate the wheat from the chaff and the facts from the fiction. Now let's get this started with your hosts, Mario Diabenedetto, Rob Katz, and me, Kyle Myers. We hope you enjoy this episode of the AI Riff.
And we are a quarter century old.
Wow.
Our podcast is a quarter century old.
Quarter century. Okay. That's good.
The math.
No, my son is 25, so I've reached a podcast for every year of his life. One of my sons. The other ones, we're not even close to it. I mean, we got 10 more at least to go.
Oh, all right. I was going to say, I thought we were done.
What?
I thought you were telling me we were done. Like we ran out of time.
No, we're not done. We're not done. No. They can't get rid of us that easily. So what do we got today, Mario? What are we going to talk about? Something fun, I hope.
Well, today we're gonna talk about some stuff that's not necessarily directly related to the mortgage folks we normally talk to, but really is because of the approach. And we're going to talk about Microsoft has created this superintelligence team in their AI group, and it's focused. They decided that their starting point was to help doctors diagnose patients' diseases, conditions, whatever. Right. And so that's where they chose to start their efforts. And I think it's really interesting to see the pattern as to why. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say people much smarter than me. Right. When I look at somebody who's doing something like this, I'm presuming they're way smarter than me. And when they choose to attack something a certain way, I want to mimic that. Like I look at the way they're approaching it and I say, well, I probably want to do something just like that, because they're doing that for a reason. And so I like to dissect, like, well, why would they start with medical diagnosis? And it's really an interesting article because it's basically trying not to be the expert. It's trying to be an expert that can assist somebody. And we've talked about this, I think, over the entire course of our podcast, right? AI as an assistant is just a much better use case for most people that are trying to use it. I think at last episode and the one before, we were talking about hallucinations, right? Mm-hmm. You can't get a definitive answer out of something if it's hallucinating. So don't try to expect it to, right? So I thought that was a good starting point for why it's cool and why it leads me to believe like the things that I should be building should be an assistant.
Well, what I liked in the article that I read about this was the guy in charge of this project, Suleiman, I believe is how his name is pronounced. One of the quotes is that he's not chasing infinitely capable generalists. That's not what they want to build. And you look at OpenAI, you look at Anthropic, you look at these large language models that have all the information of the universe and are being trained every day on the new stuff that's being put out there, whether it's slop or not slop. These guys don't want to do that. Right? They're not trying to build AGI. They're trying to take a very specific problem with a very defined domain that, yes, has gazillions of variables within that domain, but they're putting all their energy and time into trying to solve that domain. It makes so much sense. And Mario, to your point, it is, if and when they pull this off, it sets the pattern and the framework to go chase other domains, right? Yeah. So I think it's a brilliant way to spend some money for Microsoft. I'm a huge Microsoft fan, right? I have been since I was a little kid. I lived in Redmond for 14 years, where their headquarters is based. Got lots of friends who work there. They've made some missteps, Zoom and some other things that never, Zoom, the music player, and other things that never made it, Microsoft Phone. But on something like this, they're spending, I think, good money in a good direction, and they got to do something because they're Microsoft. And I applaud what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what are the odds that AI cures cancer? what's the I haven't checked the poly market on this. I probably should. But I say that jokingly because I don't think AI is going to solve or cure cancer. It's obviously a tool that could be used to help cure cancer, human in the loop. But, and then does that mean that if Microsoft or Google or X or someone is the engine behind what's being Anthropic is being used to solve or cure are they going to take credit for like are they going to leverage, not that I care, I'm sure people that have diseases that it could cure or health issues that it could cure aren't going to care who takes credit for it. They just want the solution.
Well, I think I don't know the answer directly, but I think a potential path is pharmaceutical companies will contract with Microsoft to gain access to this platform, to tap in and do the research and come up with what that solution is, and they will pay a fortune for that access and possibly royalty sharing for whatever money they make off the pharmaceutical, and then the pharmaceuticals, right? They're going to do what they're going to go do. So I don't see us cutting checks, I have cancer now, I'm going to spend, $100,000 with Microsoft to get the cure, but I'll be spending the $100,000 with some pharmaceutical company, some portion of which is going to Microsoft.
So let's draw the analogy there, because I'm going to give you a different variation that is happening today. But I think the analogy is interesting, right? Because there's that monetized model, right, that Rob's talking about, where somebody solves part of a problem and then says, well, you can take advantage of this, right? And that feels very mortgage to me, right? That somebody says, I'm going to have use the AI to understand some trends, some data, something, that when you give me a scenario, I can give you a pretty specific, answer, and you're just going to pay me per click, per charge, per whatever, right, per use. There is a company, and I wish I had it at my fingertips, I don't, who is doing a different approach. They are doing the most basic cellular modeling with AI. And the premise is that over time, they want to be able to determine the likelihood of any one given cell interacting with any other given cell. And interacting is a broad word, right? They can fuse, they can mold, they can destroy, they can do. And so they're at the lowest lowest cellular level. They're trying to make these models, and they picked a very narrow slice consistent with this theme, right? They didn't try to solve all cells because that's crazy complex. They picked a very narrow space, but it's open source. They are making it free, available to whoever, right, to be able to use it. And part of their premise is that, and it goes with this, we're not going to give you the answer 100% of the time. It's not going to be right 100% of the time. But in the amount of time it can crunch ideas and do things and give you 90% accuracy, you as a human, to answer your question, Kyle, you as a human can do the work to figure out like where that last mile is. Like this is just accelerating, getting you close so that you can do all that human work that still has to happen to actually test it, because no model is going to be perfect in the human body, right? And that sounds right, right? And it sounds right to me in mortgage too, right? That you're always going to need that human piece to do the last mile. It's because it's a human business, right?
Yeah. And I'm going to go back to what I totally understand what you're saying, Mario. But I have to go back. It's stuck in my head how scary of a thought of what Rob said about the pharmaceutical companies. Basically, I'm going to frame it a different way. Buying the rights to a certain therapeutical chemistry that could solve or help, buying it from Microsoft, and that Microsoft getting royalties when pharmacy sells the drug that does something that their AI large language model or whatever they bought, their 3 Mile Island energy thing, storage, created. I'm just like, that scares the heck out of me, because I don't trust a lot of large data / technology firms. I don't necessarily trust them 100% because they're for profit. They're not that they're against humanity, but they are for profit, and pharmaceutical companies are for profit for sure, and they have a lot of expenses for R&D. I get it. You got to recoup those costs, and for the most part, the U.S. people have been recouping those costs. It scares me that there could be a cure that's really cheap out there that the pharmaceutical companies will be like, nah, we're not going to do that. That's too inexpensive. I can't make any money on that. I'm not going to provide that.
Let me say that in shorthand, right? Which is Microsoft's fine as a science experiment to try to do this, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a science experiment. It's like a great test of their capabilities and AI capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
But having been at IBM when they were doing Watson, the economics of the money you're going to save is really challenging, right? Unless you literally wipe out a disease, and then when you wipe it out, it's actually a destruction of income for people, right? Even though it's an avoidance of bad health and everything else, it's a destruction of people's way of life. It may not. This, as an example, this team may not really pan out to be something economically viable. It's just maybe a science experiment.
Which is very cynical and sad, because we want to help humanity. We want to help people with the best cures for whatever what ailments, the human body is just is constantly deteriorating, and helping people to be, live longer, productive lives is a great, goal for everyone. Wants each other to be, for me, in my faith, I don't care when the day is I go, but I care about my quality of life up until that day. I don't want to be in misery. I don't want to be in those things. If AI can help me, and if Microsoft's experiment can help get live until you die kind of attitude, where you can live your life productively, meaningfully until the day you leave this earth, then great. I'm all for it.
So I'm going to be tongue in cheek now.
Okay.
Remembering that I am a huge Microsoft fan. Think about Anthropic. Think about Gemini. Think about ChatGPT. And now think about Copilot. Not sure this is going to be successful.
Ever the cynic. Yeah. Okay.
Tongue in cheek. I said I got lots of friends over there. Copilot kind of sucks. They know that it sucks. So yeah, but it's.
So you wonder, why was Microsoft the only one in like parlaying for this? Like they wanted.
They're the one that has come out to say that they're intentionally putting their focus on this one particular topic with a very limited domain, and doing it for two reasons. One is they're positioning a couple reasons, but it all falls under the umbrella of humanism. So to your point, Kyle, their objective is to help mankind. They also feel that by having this focused agenda and not going chasing after AGI, the existential risk of having AI becoming Skynet and destroying mankind isn't going to come into play. So they're being the good guy. They're at least saying that they're being the good guys on this, and I hope it's true. Like I said,
and I don't care if good guys make money. I don't care if they make some money on this, because you're paying a lot of people to be in your company. You're paying good people that they feed back to the economy all the money. I get it. We're in a capitalistic society, but I share a little bit of your cynicism that it may not be with. I think if it was with OpenAI or Anthropic, maybe I would feel like it's going to have a little more energy behind it. But then again, Microsoft isn't exactly like the poor guy in the room. I mean, they're a pretty solid company. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
So this theme is playing out, right? That's why I started out saying this is an analogy, right? There is a theme across almost all of the major frontier models where they are now trying to specialize, right? Whether it's be able to do spreadsheets, right? There's different kinds of specialization, but they're all trying to get into some sort of specialization and make themselves intertwined into people's daily lives, because this idea of one big brain, it's not going to happen with this technology. right? They've come to the conclusion that the current version of math that just basically puts words close to one another with math is not enough to get to artificial intelligence. There's going to have to be some other piece of this puzzle, and they may get to it tomorrow. They may get to it next decade. We have no idea. But to monetize this, they've got to make it useful. It can't just be the answer guy. It can't be Ask Jeeves.
Or it's a philanthropic effort.
Or it's
Ask
a philanthropic
Jeeves.
effort.
Ask Jeeves. You just slipped in an Ask Jeeves reference?
I did.
Oh my gosh.
It's for my
For
sister.
those of you who are under the age of 50, we should probably explain what Ask Jeeves is, but you go look it up. Ask
It's basically saying,
It
hey
still
Siri.
is. It's still there.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. My sister-in-law works for the company that originated it. And
Isn't that Yahoo?
One of
Or
the
no,
properties.
was it? I thought, did
It was
Yahoo
like
buy it?
i1.com, and there's a whole bunch of internet
Oh my
properties.
gosh. Ask Jeeves is still up. It's still a search engine. That is crazy.
Wow.
You'd think
Well,
Jeeves could
I
make
wonder.
progress now, but
Okay, that's what I'm going to do with AI. I'm going to have AI ask Jeeves a whole bunch of questions and see if it comes back with the right answers.
so I think we need to. Here's how maybe our listeners can do this instead of us because they're probably smarter than we are. Here's how we're going to monetize this. We're going to create a TV show called Diagnosis AI.
Oh, wow. And what's the
Don't.
Is this a medical show? Is this
Maybe.
Are we diagnosing? Does my dog's food make it grumpy? What's our diagnosis? What's our
I don't know.
everything?
I'm just throwing out.
Ask Jeeves. I just want to start a show called Ask Jeeves, and have this
They'd probably
English
shut you
character.
down pretty quick since they're still an active company.
Well,
so.
we could say Ask Cheese instead, and it's this frumpy British guy. who
Where
comes
has this
out.
show gone?
Oh,
I don't know. So I got an update on AI. So you mentioned in the last episode, Mario, about the tool that you used that made Lovable become likable because you found something that could be better. So I'm still a huge Cursor fan. Use it every day when I'm doing my vibe coding and stuff. What they have now introduced is a review button. So you put in a prompt. You have Cursor build out a bunch of stuff. It may touch 1 to 20 different files in your project. You hit review and it uses, I think it picks a different model, maybe not, but it does a review of all the edits and code changes that it did to try to catch bugs ahead of time. And I find 60% of the time when I click the review button that it finds 1 or 2 bugs that I would have ultimately found in I'm going to go test and see if it's working or not. So it's saving me time. It is costing more tokens. It does cost a little bit more money to run it, but it's another agent set of eyes reviewing the code changes that are there. Pretty cool. So the whole workflow now is they have an ask mode where you interact with it and it makes no changes to any of your code. And you're like, go back and forth. And if, how should I do this? What do you think I should do for that? And you come up with your idea. Then it has a plan mode, which again, doesn't change any of your code, but it goes through all your code and it writes a very detailed step-by-step of, if I was a senior developer, what would I do? Then there's a build button. You click the build button and then the agent actually goes through and does the code changes. And then there's the review button where the other agent goes through and reviews what was there. So to your point, Kyle, that you asked earlier, can you just have it review your code to know what's there? It's now really being smarter about that without burning all the tokens to make it happen. So I'm finding it, in some ways, it's a little slower to get to the end point because you're going through these steps, but the quality of what's coming out is spectacular. It's breathtakingly good. And those plans that it generates, you get to read it, you can ask questions of it, and it can refine it till you get the plan just right. So it's measure twice, cut once is really what they're coming up with now. And they charge for each step that you go through, the cost of running through that portion of the model is more expensive than not. So ask is almost free. Planning is less expensive, is a little bit more expensive. Build is expensive. And I'm guessing that the review is just as expensive as build because it's doing that code by code review. Pretty impressive stuff that they're doing.
So for a small, when you say expensive, for a small, the size project, would you consider it small or large that you recently?
Yeah, I'm at 160,000 lines of functional code, so it's getting to be a pretty medium-sized project. And I spend $20. Actually,
Medium.
I was gonna say I spent $20 a month, but I didn't. I flipped over to their annual plan, so I think it's I paid for the year. I think it was a discounted price of about $17 a month. So when I say it's expensive, is you run out of it. Like when you click the review, they're like you can't review anymore unless you want to pay more money. So I just stopped reviewing, that kind of thing. So it's still
How much more money
infinitely
though?
cheap for me.
That's what I'm trying to understand. Is okay. So it's $20 net. That's the baseline. So are you paying $50 a month? And then
Well, I'm paying the 20 a month because I don't spend over. But I'm grandfathered in on an old plan. I will say the biggest negative about Cursor as a company is they are not transparent in their pricing. They change their pricing every day. If you go to the Reddit boards and you follow the Cursor subreddit, it's half the thing is like, I have no idea what I'm being charged and how did I burn my $200 already, blah, blah, blah. I spend $20 a month. So, yeah.
Well, it's good to be grandfathers.
It is. Yeah.
So the one cool thing, so anti-gravity from Google does basically the same thing. The cool thing that I noticed it doing, that it didn't even kind of say, it just kind of did it as, how it kind of AI says, I'm doing this, like it doesn't. And so I was doing some web page related stuff. It actually opened the web page, took a snapshot of it to try to actually confirm that everything appeared the way I asked it to appear.
So Cursor just added that too now. So Cursor does have the embedded browser. Yeah,
it's super cool.
Yeah, because Cursor used to be like, oh, let's help troubleshoot. I put in some debug code. Go ahead and refresh the page and hit F12 and open the developer thing and tell me what you see in the console log. Now you can just go, you look, you got the browser built in. You do it.
It can see.
So, yeah, pretty cool. So last thing on the topic, I'll throw out at you guys for anyone who's interested in vibe coding or trying to vibe code it. Just to Mario's point, when it's working, it's throwing out very quickly what it's trying to do. Pay attention to that, because that is where you can catch that it's going off the rails and you can stop it, or you can let it finish and go, well, why'd you do it that way? If you don't pay attention to that and you walk away and you come back, you have no idea what the hell it did. So it is, pay attention to the script that is thrown out at you, and it'll definitely save you time and heartache.
Perfect full circle, right? It's an assistant. It's helping you. It is not the best and final answer all by itself.
That's right.
That's a great way to end it. And I'll say for tonight on episode 25, I'm Kyle Myers.
I'm Rob Katz.
And I'm still Mario Di Benedetto.
And this has been the AI Riff.
Wires hum like whispers in the deep dark night. Shadows dancing strange under neon light. Digits spinning fast like a gambler's hand. The clock chimes change, it's the new command. Oh, the future calls with a voice so clear. A melody of progress in every ear. No turning back, the wheels in motion. A tide of cold like the endless ocean. Binary prophets riding fading streams. Data flows like rivers fueling all our dreams. Simple or savvy, it's all the same path. Under skies of innovation, we redraw the map. Oh, the future calls with a voice so clear. A melody of progress in every ear. No turning back, the wheels in motion. A tide of cold like the endless ocean. Set the rhythm to the beat of change we sing. Every click and hum a key that rings. A revolution, quiet, but it's vast. Building empires where echoes of futures cast. Oh, the future calls with a voice so clear. A melody of progress. this ocean.